So it begins. Walmart has just laid off 1,500 people. 1,500 employees gone. And the prices have gone up between 40 and 60%. Oh, well, I don't know. I guess we'll be in for the ride.
So the very same week that the Tangerine Twat Waffle is doing a military honors parade through the streets of DC, which is costing the American taxpayers tens of millions of dollars. All right, the same week, this administration is demanding massive layoffs from the VA. What a way to honor our troops, right? Reporting came out that the VA has signed a contract with OPM in order to manage a mass RIF, a reduction in force. The problem is the leaders at the VA are getting different numbers from everyone that they consult. So one Trump appointee will say they need to cut X amount of people. And then the next person will say, no, it needs to be more than that. So nobody knows what the actual number is going to be, but they are estimating up to 80,000 people reduced from the VA. Trump has proven time and time again he doesn't give a shit about our troops. The only thing he cares about is boosting his own ego, which this little birthday parade is going to do. I wonder if all those soldiers who were cheering the other day are still going to be cheering when they try and go get medical services next time.
So Scotiabank and RBC just mandated that all their workers come back to office 4 days a week starting in September. Now, that might not sound like too big of a deal, but it signifies some troubling times ahead for the Canadian economy. And what we've seen in the past in other sectors, particularly in the technology industry, is that return to work mandates have been used as almost a form of quiet layoffs so that the worker can voluntarily leave their job without receiving a severance. And what usually ensues after some of these policies is that we start to witness mass layoffs. Now, if we zoom out and we look at the big picture here, we have return to work mandates, high unemployment rates, a threat of looming tariffs from the United States administration, as well as a lack of productivity and decreased GDP growth. Combine all of that together and we have some troubling times ahead for the Canadian economy. If you are gainfully employed, now might not be the best time to leave your job. Also, if you have a big purchase that you're thinking of making, now might not be the best time to do that. And coincidentally, if you are sitting on a large amount of cash and you do have an appetite for a certain level of risk, now could be a good time to see some opportunities.
Hey folks, just a quick update. First of all, wow. Did that quick little video yesterday for after the gut punch of getting laid off, and didn't really expect anyone to see it or respond to it. And, not a viral video, but the response was overwhelming for me. So first I want to say thank you to everyone who took the time to comment, leave some good suggestions, feedback, and just offer some support. So cool. Did want to let you know I'm taking a break right now today from job hunting and gonna watch the Stanley Cup playoffs finals. Fortunately, my team didn't make it, but you know what? I mean, it's still, I'm a big hockey fan, so I'm gonna try to enjoy it and just take my mind off of things. So I really appreciate everyone today helping to put things in perspective. And as I go through this, I think what I might end up doing is just trying to maybe record some of the process as I process going through this and then looking for a new job, etc.
So where have I been? Why have I not been posting? The honest truth is I am exhausted. If you're new here, hi, my name is Z. I was laid off from a corporate product management role about 3 months ago, exactly 3 months ago today. And it has been quite a journey. I've applied to over 100 jobs. I've stopped counting after 100. And most recently had some pretty good activity. I had a couple interviews, a couple case studies submitted. I have a case study actually coming up next week. Overall, I'm just exhausted. This experience has been so emotionally taxing. I'm incredibly fortunate and privileged to have a partner who is still working and he still brings in an income. But obviously our bills still keep coming on time. There's no pausing on that. And the pressure to find another job, another source of income continues to grow every single day. All that to say, I'm just exhausted. This experience has been just freaking traumatizing. I'm beyond deflated. I'm like beyond numb. But I continue to show up because I can't not show up. I have to show up for my family. I have to show up for myself. I have to show up for the little girl inside of me who would be disappointed if I gave up on this process. And I know I'm close to something. I feel it in my bones. I don't know what it is. But finally, for the first time during this whole process, I have a feeling about a potential next step. It's the feeling I've not had since the beginning. So I feel pretty good about that. All this to say, I've been a little tired. I've been a little burnt out from applying to jobs, from the constant, consistent rejection. And I think it's okay to just sometimes pause, take a break, and escape without needing to tell people why, vanish for a little bit. And that's what I did. I just took some time. And we'll see what happens next.
Hi everyone. I've been ill since last week. That's why my voice is not so normal, I have to admit. I'm on sick leave, and still this is going to be the great timing to reflect on my workplace. I have been noticed that the company is not having the most healthiest status. I have witnessed this since the beginning, ever since I joined this company last year. So I'm working at a consultancy, and I'm currently assigned at a client-facing project, meaning I am still billable. But I've noticed that the bench rate is really high, and for that, they're having a hard time recruiting new projects into their project portfolio, which is a big minus sign for a consultancy. However, reflecting on recent newsletters coming from the managing director of the entire country, I have realized that this is not only the local specific branch office problem, a countrywide problem. So the managing director officially admitted through the newsletter that the bench rate is elevated, and also another newsletter was saying that they are not able to meet the inflation rate to be reflected into people's salary. So the raise is not going to be met, and if ever, then this is not going to be for everyone. And third, which is the most significant and obvious one, is that all of a sudden they are using enhancing the team spirit as a very good excuse, want to call everyone back to office. So this is the most obvious sign, which means many companies are nowadays using this as a tactic to soft layoff. So I think sooner or later it's going to be affect me, and I am living outside, much away from the branch office that I am working for. So I think sooner or later, I think my decision time point would be made, could be a little earlier than I have expected. And when I come back to work as of next week, hopefully, then I think I'll be able to get to know more. And to be honest, when things are going into this direction, that means probably I'm approaching to an end, meaning also approaching to a new beginning of something different, something new, and hopefully something better.
Has been eliminated. This means you're being laid off effective immediately. You can keep any, you can keep your laptop, any related IT equipment. If you receive the monitor, or a keyboard, or any Bluetooth sort of things from friends, you can keep those things. Should you accept the terms of this separation agreement?
Yeah, I will say, it's kind enough, I guess I don't have any questions. It's really a bummer, and honestly, I'm gonna miss everybody. And I will say, sorry, I'm sure you had to see this all day.
What?
I said, I'm sure you've had to see people cry all day, or you will see, I don't know. Yeah, Range definitely has been the best company I've ever worked for. And I just want to let y'all know that, before this company, I was at such a toxic place in a toxic company, and I just kind of gave up on startups and thought they all would be that way, but Fringe has proven to be so different. So I just wanted to acknowledge that I understand. Y'all have to do what's best for y'all, and y'all are really a great company and just so genuine. So, yeah.
Like you've heard,
Like everybody.
Yeah. And you've been enjoying work with and a great employee, and I know you'll be very significantly missed by a lot of people. So,
Well, thank you so much. And honestly, this is a pretty generous package. Like, y'all could have done nothing, but y'all chose to do something. So that speaks volumes for it all. So thank you.
Tell me if I'm crazy. If you were me and you were losing your job in about 2 weeks, would you still do the things that you're responsible for on a daily basis? Or would you reprioritize your time to do something else? Just answer the question, like, be for real. Because is that what you're expected to do? Like, you're supposed to pretend like everything's fine and do stuff that you're usually used to doing? But now you're losing your job. So are you even really supposed to do them?
The role is being eliminated at PwC.
Nice to meet you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I know it's hard.
Right.
You guys are probably doing a lot of these today. So I appreciate it.
I mean, everyone who says that to me, I do appreciate that, but I know like this is not an easy conversation. So just appreciate you being so respectful and professional. But I'm writing down now, and that's awesome that you won.
Thanks.
Great. I know this seems like very. To be fully transparent with you, so I'm the one of the TCs for like we weren't involved in any of like the decision making. We're just the messengers here. But I recognize you being a first place win, like how contradictory that sounds. So I do want to acknowledge that.
It is the way it is.
Unfortunately, just hard decisions had to be made across the firm for sure.
Of course.
All right, so $1,000 winning the hackathon.
I want that grand. I want that 1K.
Yeah, no, you will get that. I will make sure of it.
I appreciate you for being professional about this. Yeah, it sucks, but that's the way it is, and I'm moving forward, staying positive. So.
All right, good. That's
Thank
a perfect attitude. All right, wishing you all the best in the future. Let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you, Jody. Have a good one.
All right, thanks, Donna. I'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
I've now been laid off for 3 months. I did not anticipate that I would be laid off this long. And while it's been nice, like not having to work and having a lot of free time, it definitely does suck not having income. I have not had one job interview. I've heard back from a couple of companies that seemed interested, and then it just didn't go anywhere. I've gotten a lot of rejection emails. A lot of these places that I've applied to, I just haven't heard anything from at all, which might be worse than actually just getting no's. I'm just trying to be as positive as I can, as positive as I try to be about this. It's not always, I don't always feel as positive about it. Some days I feel like wildly unmotivated and I don't want to do anything, and I just find myself scrolling all day, which is really not that productive. But then some days I feel like super motivated and I like try to get a bunch done, but I feel like I could lock in more than what I have been. While I may feel stagnant right now, I know that God has something in store for me. I just have to be patient. Anyway, I don't know how much longer this is gonna last. I hope not much longer, but at the same time, while I hope not much longer, I want to find where I'm meant to be. And I think this is what this time is meant for. I know God is preparing me for what is next, and I just have to trust that.
Layoff culture right now is so difficult because for me, it was like I knew Microsoft was going to be continuing to do them. I knew they could be coming for me at any time. I did know I had put a lot of work into my online presence and network to make sure that that wouldn't devastate me when it happened. But every meeting started feeling like I have to prove that I'm meant to be here. I would stay a lot later. I would stress a lot more, but that was actually clouding my mind to where I wasn't as an effective employee because I was living under this umbrella of fear constantly. constantly. I can't even express that enough, that now that I've stopped thinking about my projects and my team and the things that I was involved with, how much better I'm sleeping. So I know that layoff culture as a whole can just really impact more than just work performance, but health. Finally getting to a place where I'm like, oh, I can go work out again and not be just ragged after something like that. So the energy level's coming back. It's not like there's not fear around some of the places that I'm going or trying to go after post-layoff, but it is certainly something I'm grateful for. I say grateful for the nap. So that's part one of post-layoff.
If y'all didn't know and didn't see, UPS and Amazon is finna lay off over 20,000 people. 20,000 people. So that means everybody is literally finna be applying. Everybody is finna be literally applying for the same job. So that means if you apply for something, it's about a few more people that's applying for another job. When I tell y'all the ones that voted that orange man in office, okay? Not me. Y'all did that. And now y'all see the outcome of it. It's so terrible right now because we're finna hit a super big recession. Like, I'm telling you, $15 for people, if it's not more than $20, $25 an hour, if you don't have a degree, none of those things, it's really not gonna matter. You're gonna have to get in where you fit, and that means getting any job that they have. And it got so bad, but y'all should have thought about this before.
Breaking news, if you have not heard, 247,000 Americans have filed for unemployment. You heard me correctly, 247,000 Americans. But the bad news is that there are 130 companies that are going to be laying off thousands of people in June alone. Ohio, California, so many states are doing mass layoffs. It is predicted we are going to have a recession by the second quarter. If you are not planning for a recession, you should be. Please get your finances in order. You need to cut back on spending. Please don't buy anything major right now, especially due to tariffs. And make sure that you are cutting back or eliminating on any expenses that you have and that you can. An emergency savings of 3 to 6 months in a high yield savings account. Let's prepare for the worst, but hope for the best.
You can go in early, stay late, never call out, be the perfect model employee. But when it's time to cut costs, your name gonna go on that list just like everybody else. Because at the end of the day, it's about business. It's about numbers. And if those numbers don't look the way they want them to look, they're gonna either lay you off, fire you, or reduce your hours. One of the three. Just last week on my job, we had to let some people go early because of budget cuts. My name is Tony. I'm a burnt out healthcare worker in Mississippi. So I decided that, look, I'm not going to bet my future on the job. I decided to bet on me, myself.
So I got laid off about a month ago. Wasn't even going to talk about it. Wasn't going to say anything about it. But it's been happening so much this past year. I want to say since January. I've watched so many people that I've worked with, that I've known outside of the company lose their jobs. I'm talking about working with the FDA, the IRS.
So did I get laid off from my job? Today, June 11th, was the day that my hospital is supposed to send out a notification on those who they want to lay off. So I checked my email and your girl's in the clear. Still have my job and I'm grateful for that. My heart does go out to those who were laid off. One of my coworkers I used to work with on the same floor, she did get laid off. However, she had a per diem position. And the first that they wanted to lay off were per diems. Although I'm glad I did not get any notification of myself getting laid off, I am still worried about what the future could hold for CNAs. how long do hospitals want to keep CNAs, even though they are a vital caregiver in the front lines? So tell me, does your hospital still have CNAs? Is your hospital trying to lay off CNAs? And how would you feel if CNAs were laid off?
So I'm at work right now, but I am reading this article from Freight Waves. They're saying that layoffs are going to hit the freight-related companies across Southwest or Southeast. More than 1,800 jobs cut in Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, and South Carolina. So, question is, are we doing great yet?
Well, the news for corporate Gen Xers keeps getting worse. This is for folks still in corporate that have dodged, right, the layoffs or found a new job. The data is only getting worse. I knew it was, and I know the AI layoffs are coming. I don't think they're here yet, but I just saw this report this morning. I think it was from MSN. Layoffs are surging as 2025 becomes the year of the pink slip. And basically, it's another year of the pink slip. But what really surprised me was the numbers. I knew it was growing, and I knew there's, just based on the community, there's a ton of people that have been let go. But there's almost 100,000 jobs cut in May, right? A lot of that was Doge, or maybe not a lot of it, I don't remember what the total number was, factored into that. But there's quite a few other, tech, service, healthcare are seeing layoffs. And what really surprised me as I'm looking down at my numbers is that for the year to date, we're over 700,000 jobs cut, right? Eliminated, people without work. That's just 65,000 short of the entire total of 2024 last year, and that seemed like the year of the pink slip. So it's only accelerating. A friendly reminder that if you are still in corporate, Gen X, Gen Z, millennial, it doesn't matter. You are going to have an expiration date. And what's your alternative? Keep looking for new jobs. If you're Gen Xer, that's going to be kind of hard. So I tend to focus on the positive. I'm more of a half full type of a person, that you do have opportunities, especially as a Gen Xer. You can leverage your corporate experience and make money from it in a number of different ways. If you think that gap is too far, most of the time it's a mental hurdle. There's ways you can start to test and create some income before corporate lets you go. Because again, I think everybody's got that expiration date, and it's probably going to be sooner than you think. So no time like the present to get started.
So PwC in the US has decided to let go of 1,500 employees, or 2% of its total workforce, in light of the fact that they're just not leaving. Now, that in itself might be for some people a reflection of the market, but I suspect it's more to do with just kind of employee retention and employee turnover thresholds. Very simple. Now, you have to understand that every big business has provisions in place to monitor how many people are coming and going, right? Obviously. Now, employee turnover thresholds in organizations tend to be around, 5-10%. That tends to be what it is. Now, it's actually higher in management consulting and advisory and audit because it's very pressurized. So it's more like 15-20%. But historically, what organizations would do in terms of preparation of this is that they acknowledge that this is going to happen naturally. People leave every year, and as a result of that, they build the systems in place to make sure that there's always enough people. So graduate recruitment, experienced hires, and then partnerships with third-party recruitment firms, temporary employees, etc. And that there is designed to just make sure that the business always has enough people. Now, what this is happening in America right now, at least, and because this is specific to audit and tax, is that people are just not leaving. And I would suspect, because every year they would have thousands of people who qualify as a full-on accountants, graduates who qualify, and generally speaking, a big chunk of those leave as soon as they qualify because they get offered jobs by their clients, they get offered, a significant pay rise once you qualify fully. But it would just seem like people are not leaving. Now, that in itself could be a reflection of the opportunities that are in the market, but I would suspect that the decision to let go of people would be more to do with the fact that they have these thresholds. And then when people qualify, even internally within PwC, that their salaries would increase. So it's easier to let go of them whilst we're recruiting new ones. And you know what I'm saying? So that cycle then continues. So this would be, I would suspect, more of an internal decision rather than a market decision, just ensuring that, the business has sufficient resource, but it's willing to invest money in developing cheaper resource into more expensive resource, rather than keeping more expensive resource and then stopping graduate recruitment, for example.
So we have another casualty to the tariffs. TikTok Shop America, their division was sent home. and then emailed the next day and told that they were being let go because of economical uncertainties and the tariffs. So a lot of the people that I was dealing with, and still am, all their inventory is here in America. A lot of the people that are dealing with a lot of the free stuff that, you know, they just send you stuff, that comes out of China. And delays, tariffs, expenses, cancellation orders. Yeah, it's not working out. We know Temu's having issues. We know Shine's having issues, and now TikTok Shop looks like there's an issue there. The numbers are not there. People are not spending the money. Could be due to tariffs, whatever it may be. Doesn't mean you're not going to see no more ads. It just means that they, at this point, got rid of their U.S. team. No announcement has been made to the public, but the people who were let go are making an announcement. That's how word got to me. And we'll see what comes of it, and we'll see how they pivot and what direction they go.